right, welcome to Monday with Monteverdi. We're here with Claudio Monteverdi.
Hello everyone, I'm Claudio Monteverdi, a concertmaster, choir arranger, and musician.
So, when were you alive? When were you born?
I was born May 15th, 1567.
And when did you die?
Oh, I hope I don't die soon. But according to my notes, it says November 29th, 1643. Oh, that was like 400 years ago. I don't know how I'm still here.
Well, you're here with us today, so we're going to
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
All right, so what positions did you hold during your lifetime?
I was a singer and a violist in the court of Mantua.
What kind of musical training did you have, and who were your influences?
So I received training in Italy from Marcantonio Igneri and the Maestro di Cappella at the Cremona Cathedral. So I have a very religious background in Italy, and Italy is where all the art is happening in this time.
Okay. What historical or cultural events affected your work?
Definitely the Council of Trent and the 30 Years' War. I'd have to say those two. Those are my biggest picks because they both influenced how my country had changed over time, and one of them was music and one of them was a war, and with war brings art. So yes, that's one of my big influences.
Okay. So let's get into some of your musical style and innovation. What would you say the main characteristics of your musical style are?
Really big, innovative orchestration. I was really big into experimenting at this time. Basso continuo, concertato style, and using modern rhythms and textures of the time. It was just beautiful what we were able to do. And I know we have more electronic stuff now, but what we could do then with what we had was beautiful.
All right. In what ways did you help shape the early development of opera?
Using expressive musical techniques and treating the voice more like an instrument than just a voice. It was used more dramatically, more like an instrument as compared to I'm just singing to an audience.
In what ways would you say you experimented with instrumentation and texture?
I used a lot more modern rhythms and changing meter as opposed to, the sacred music of the time being, very easy because it's for everyone to follow. But my music wasn't always meant for the church, it was secular music. And my music not being used to always glorify God was something that not everyone agreed with, but it's something I really enjoyed because music is my passion.
Okay. How would you say you balance text and music in your vocal compositions?
Prioritizing the text, because the music is about the text. Yes, there's the background parts going on, but if I'm telling a story, no one's really going to care what the trumpet's doing in the background, because the story is about someone that's singing or they're speaking, it's a poem, it could be whatever. So I think just emphasizing the fact that the voice is more important really helped my works. And using dissonance, it just provoked powerful emotions in ways that not that emotions weren't present then, but in the fact that the church didn't want to use dissonance because it was scary or something, or they didn't like it. But I don't care what the church thinks because it's my music and I just wanted to make something that people could enjoy. So using the dissonance to get those powerful emotions was something I really looked at doing.
Okay, so let's get into some of your compositions. What would you say your most famous compositions were?
L'Orfeo, by far. That's my number one top hit. That's the one going platinum. Here, we'll take a brief listen. Beginning, the toccata of my piece, and toccata means to play, which is mostly instruments. I'm not sure if you at home could hear, but there were 2 or 3 different lines going on at the same time that were all different in rhythms. the trombone's going da 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 da. But as you could hear, the trumpet was also just soaring above the top beautifully. I loved my toccatas being super brass heavy. They're beautiful.
Why would you say that piece was significant?
It was one of the first great operas in the Baroque period. It was different, something people wanted to listen to.
Okay. How would you say your compositions changed over the course of your career?
So they started as just polyphonic pieces that turned into something larger with more Baroque ideas. Because I was born during the Renaissance period, but also alive during the Baroque period, I was able to combine both ideas and just make something that was a hybrid of both, which is why they consider me a transition composer.
Mm-hmm. So,
Okay.
So what were some of So what were some of your sacred works, and how would you say they compared to your secular music?
So I had one called Mass for Four Voices, and I also had Salva Morale e Spiritual. I added a more dramatic approach to my sacred music as to make it more like my secular music. And being religious, being fearful in God, it's dramatic, it's powerful. And I think a lot of the music at the time wasn't capturing that, so I took something that I found my music, and just really changed it into something different. And I think people really started to enjoy it.
Okay. Let's get into some of your cultural and artistic impacts. So how would you say your music influenced later Baroque composers?
I just started writing operas in general, and they became famous, and other people were like, well, I guess I could do that. So more operas came out, and humanism was large at this time, and showing people it's okay to write emotion in your music, because it's what it's all about. I'd hate to sit at a concert and just sit there like, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, I would, I want people to clap in between the movements of my pieces. Take that, Beethoven.
Okay. How would you say your music was received?
They did not like me, and by they I mean the scholars in the church. They had their own rules set out, and I really didn't agree with it because it was really holding back music at the time. And Renaissance, it was super by the books, but in the Baroque period, we started experimenting more, and someone like Bach also started experimenting more, but he was still able to keep a job, unlike me. And also, Book 5 of my measurables caused a big debate and hurt my reputation because of the way it went against the rules. That was my big piece that really stirred the pot with the scholars at the time. But in my early career, I was very well respected because I did follow the rules of being a Renaissance composer.
Okay. What can your works tell us about the social and artistic values of 17th century Italy?
Art was becoming more detached from the church, just people were waking up and knew there was humanism at the time. Just, there was more of a self-realization that music could be something bigger than what it was, and that we could have been limiting it by how it was perceived as just something we do in the church, and now becoming something more that anyone could enjoy.
Okay. Let's talk about your legacy a little bit. What aspects of your music continue to inspire modern performers and composers today?
Just thinking outside the box, really, like making music more emotionally powerful than something that has to be scholarly. Now here in 2025, we have people that think that every measure needs to be 7/8 and 4/4 alternating, but just make it powerful. That's how you get people to listen. You want people to buy your music. As composers, we need people to buy our music. I think making it something that is just enjoyable instead of scholarly would go a long way. And my music's still being played today on period correct instruments. There are groups that tour the country playing my music on period correct instruments. My operas are still performed. It's just really beautiful to see. Go out there and innovate.
Mm-hmm.
As my role as a famous composer, get out there and innovate.
All right. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you for being on the podcast.
All right, thank you so much for having me.